Everyone, this is AutoML training working group meeting on 17th of November. Welcome on. I'll start to share my screen now. So as always, if you want to add something to the agenda, feel free to update our doc. And if you missed our past recordings, all the recordings should be available on the YouTube channel in the following links. We don't have much items today to discuss. So I think probably the first one should be about making the new release of Calip in before 2022. So I think from Kubeflow perspective, 1.5 won't be released until end of January or start of December. And I try to take a look like what kind of features we can deliver in, for example, 0.13 release of Calip. We don't have like much things to release right now, but what are other things? Do we want to make the release before the new year, maybe like this or next week?
Are you talking about release even before the Kubeflow release?
Yeah. For example, because the previous one was like in October, I think.
Right, like unless there are some blocking issues, we might not need that, right? Like, do we have any blocking issues right now?
I don't think we have any like blocking issue, as I can see. Yeah, maybe only like just a small bug fixes, like for example, like what we did with grid. Yes, with this one, but this is not the blocking issue, and I don't see any like feedback from our users that we need to make the release to fix this kind of problems. So do you think otherwise we should just wait until Kubeflow will be released in 1.5?
Yeah, that's what I think. And also I will like in a week I will take a look at the existing issues, and then we can try to see what are the possible things that we should bump up during the next release. So once we have that, I think then that will be easy to figure out whether do we need anything. But right now we haven't seen any blocker issues as of now, right? So I think it can wait.
Yeah, I don't think. Yeah, so I think it should be fine. So just because 0.12 actually was officially released only in October. I think we prepared like the first release candidate in August. But since like the period of time once like the feature free state like distribution testing took some time actually, because like I think Kubeflow was released only in like middle of October. That is why like we have the official release in 6th of October. So anyway, I mean, yeah, we'll see. Just let's maybe again take a look at like what kind of features we have, and if it's not something crucial, we can maybe just move it to January. Yep. Yeah, because from a training perspective, also I think we're not going to release like 1.4, right? Here.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because I think the MPI is process upgrading is still in process, but we'll discuss about it in the training step. Okay, sounds good. So other things, I think what we need to be focusing like in 1.5 in like our 0.13 release, we probably want to support Kubernetes 1.22, because I think the Kubeflow overall will be supporting Kubernetes 1.22 in the next release. So from the Katib side, I think almost everything has been updated already. So, but we just need to take a look because I haven't like tested on the Kubernetes 1.22 if it is working. But if some of the resources needs to be updated, we probably need to take a look on this issue. What do you think?
Yeah. So what is the plan for upgrading that? What deadline are we looking at for this?
Yes, I would definitely say that should be on before our next release, like 0.13. Yeah, because there are like not many actual resources we need to update, because we're already like updating our like webhook our like certificate generator, and also like CRDs. And other than that, we just need to take a look in these notes and to see if there are any like resources that are not currently supported in 1.22, right? Since we're not using Istio in KDIP, I think it won't be the problem for us to upgrading on the latest version of Kubernetes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so yeah, I will also like take a look to see what kind of things needs to be done here.
Yeah, I think if we just start doing that, I haven't run on 1.22. So once we run that, I think we will clearly get to know that. I think the easiest one would be switching RCI, right? Then that way it will be easier.
Yeah, it's a good point, but I think switching CI just require additional help from the AWS. I'm not sure we can automatically update the cluster version right now.
I see.
Yeah, because the question is like from AWS side, I'm not sure if anyone can actually help us to upgrade the version of Kubernetes there. Yeah, even I don't really know like which version we're running right now. Let me try to take a look. I don't really remember where we specify the version. Anyway, I will try to maybe like ask them, maybe ask, because Yao, like he's not working on this right now. And I don't see anyone like from AWS who just actively working on the infra side. Okay. Yeah, and other than that, just small heads up on this issue. I think we on this PR, this is just adding validation for early stopping, and I think we're ready to merge this PR. Basically, what is doing like we for our like suggestion, we have the validation process before running the suggestion service, and if the algorithm settings are not valid, we just simply change the status of the suggestion to failed. So here the proposal is doing the same for early stopping services, because early stopping, they also have their own like algorithm settings, and we can also just validate them before running the service to make sure that everything is correct. So John, if you have some time, just take a look at this issue, because from my side,
sure,
we're good to merge it as well.
Sure. Yeah, we'll do that tonight.
Okay. Yeah, and we also have some pending PRs, a lot of them for the UI. I'm not sure. Yeah, I think Kamanos is not here right now. But we probably need to maybe try to focus on the UI in the next release. Yeah, because he was busy like with the Kubeflow release, and maybe he can help us in the next one once we can finalize these updates for the UI. Because the good thing, I don't know if you like aware, but Josh just proposed the idea of inviting the users to contribute to our working group. I think, let me show you this proposal. So yesterday in the community meeting, we discussed about this issue. So basically, we want to invite one of the users who just want to be the contributor in the next release, and just assign the issue to this particular user. I think Josh called it Kubeflow user group contributor right now. But the UI from the KTIP, I think UI can be one of the things that can be improved, and it's very easy to contribute for the new people in the community, and they don't need to have like a lot of knowledge for the AutoML algorithms or like Kubernetes controllers, which is easier from my point of view. Yeah, so I think I will try to maybe collaborate with Josh to just ask how we can like involve people to help us on the UI. What do you think?
Yeah. So did we like in the community meeting, did we talk about it?
Yeah, just Josh briefly mentioned it before, like yesterday.
Oh, okay. So that was not our timing, right?
Yeah, it was just
that is
yesterday, like
not
in
our timing.
US. Yeah, US
Okay.
friendly time zone.
Okay.
Yeah, but this is like still in the proposal state, and this is just this is how like we can how like our new users can be involved in the community, and if they like feel that they will be part of the release, from our like understanding, they can like help us to just involve more people in the contribution, in the Kubeflow contribution. Well, I think it's a great idea. And as Josh mentioned before, like many people actually ask how they can help us, and they don't have the clear way of what kind of the things the community, like what kind of things they can help us, and in which kind of areas we need help. Yeah, let me put it here. Do we have anything else for the Katip? Maybe you want to discuss something? Maybe any questions from the community?
Like I think that so users could if users could contribute to the examples before, it will be a great starting point, because like they don't need to like understand all the code. They can just like uh, like provide a demo or example on how they use Catic for hyperparameter optimization, or how they use AutoML in their examples. So like,
Yeah, go ahead.
So if you are interested in Cative specific examples, I think the best ones would be the examples in the Cative repo. That actually contains all the possible features and end-to-end testing in various frameworks, various features included. So if you want to look at specific examples, I think that would be the best place.
I think the examples repo is like for end-to-end examples rather than component specific. I think the component specific examples will be removed, because the best place to have them is in their own repo, rather than this is like for users who want to make like end-to-end examples.
I see. Got it.
Yeah, I think even I would agree here, and I think it's a good point that examples also can be like a great starting point, and even for end-to-end, if it is related to KDE, because many, from my perspective, many people they're not like searching for the different repos for the examples, and maybe if they want to see how KDE just connects with other like Kubeflow components such as like pipelines, notebooks, serving. They usually try to searching for these examples in the KDE repo. And if some of the interesting examples, even using KDE in end-to-end, I would suggest to also like merging them in the KDE repo as well. Because for example, what we did previously with pipelines, we pushing all of the Kubeflow pipelines examples, which are using KDE in the KDE repo. And I think for end-to-end, we can, if it is interesting example, if this example also is using KDE functionality, I think we're more than welcome to just put this example to our repo as well. Yeah, because I think the main problem with the Kubeflow examples, it was like the great repo, but not many people actually maintaining right now, and it's it's quite outdated.
Yeah, like I had to remove like 80% of the examples. Like the new people who are like making PRs, like want to become Qflow members, so like they could like list their PRs. Like we had like 3 PRs this year. Like so I need like more examples. Like most of them are like 1.5 years old, like never been updated.
Yeah, I think mostly this repo was maintained in like 2019, 2018. So currently many users just focusing on the particular repos, like for example, for pipelines, they're searching everything under pipelines repository.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, but that's a good point. So other than that, I think let me quickly take a look. What do we have? Do we have any pending or blocking issue? Probably one of the things could be that we can focus on the CI process for the KDE, because I'm still manually pushing images to our registries. I think it's like, I mean, it's not a very good way, and probably we can try to implement. We can update the our credentials to maybe try at least pushing images after each PR. Yeah, because release process is happening like every, for example, like 4 to 5 months, but pushing images, we should done it after every commit, right? So it would be great if we can somehow automate it, releasing images to our Docker Hub. Do we have any issue, by the way? John, what do you think about it?
No comments there. So what do you need feedback there?
Yeah, I mean, I think I just need to see like what is the best way of doing this. Do we want to use like GitHub Actions to push the images?
Is that like, do you see any issues with that?
We just need to get admin access for a couple of days to update the Docker Hub credentials. That's it.
Right. Yeah, I think GitHub. Yeah, that's a good question. So do we have any other blocker other than this one? I think this can be resolved very easily, right? And actually, there is no blocker as such, right, for that.
Yeah, we just need to ask Google to give us the admin permission for a couple of days. That's it.
I see. Yeah, which okay, that also would be tough. Not sure that will be possible.
They did it before, actually, for other repos, I remember.
What is that?
They did it before, like to updating some CI settings, I remember. Maybe I will try to ask, maybe they can give at least like the working group leads permission for this repo, because maybe the things have been changed.
So here, what option do we have other than this?
Using like,
because GitHub Actions is good enough for most of the stuff. Like, do we really need any extra stuff here?
Do you mean like for publishing images?
Yeah. See, with the GitHub Actions, we could basically ask them to just add a secret or something, like, rather than giving permissions to us, because that will basically take extra time, right?
Do you mean extra time for whom? Like to approving the PRs, to PR to updating the permission, or what?
Yeah, I somehow feel that would take more time for granting admin privileges to us and then reverting it back.
But actually, it's not a big deal. We have, I think here, let me see. Yeah, so we have our working group, right? And this is like all of the leads in the working group, and I have write permission for our repo. So they just need to simply update this write permission to admin permission. That's it. The question is more about like the approval state. Is it possible? Like, what is the current like Google policies of these permissions? And if we need this permission for like some amount of time, will it be fine for us? Because I remember once we actually finalized the AWS infra, Yao actually, they gave him permission for a couple of days to updating the settings.
Yeah, I think if it is really required, let's go that route. Or else, if we can manage within ourselves, if there is some other way, I think we should do that. That's what I feel. Because there will be. Do we have any other request that we can tie with this? I'm not sure. Yeah, we can think a bit about this. I will get back to you regarding this if there is some other option. Yeah, even for adding to Docker Hub from GitHub Actions, we need to add secrets, right?
Yep.
Yeah, that is the problem.
Yeah, because we're doing like manually push for almost half a year. And I think it's not a very scalable way. I mean, in the future, because
yeah, but since it happens only like every 4 months or 5 months, I think we can still manage it that way. But again, it's good to figure out
no.
a solution.
The problem is like it should be done after each commit. We have because we manually have to push all of the images after we publish the new commit, not only the release. Because if you take a look at these scripts, we have like push latest command, which is eventually pushing all of the latest commit to the Docker Hub manually.
But why do we need this after every commit?
To provide user functionality to use the latest changes for each image, right?
I think that is not required, right? I think for that, if someone actually wants to use an image, they have to build it by them. I mean, that is what it is there in most of the open source repositories, right? We don't need to provide. They have to like say if I want to use a particular the current version of some master of a open source repository, then I have to manually build and use it, right? People don't actually push each and every image to the upstream. So I'm just saying that is not required. I'm saying that is not mandatory. We have to. What people do is, if there are minor releases, yes. If there are major releases, yes. But not for every commit or like every
every
month
change. I mean, right?
No.
Yeah, because
yeah.
usually, because previously, like for the last 3 years, we're providing the users the latest image if they want to use the latest changes from the master, our images. If they don't want to wait.
I don't think that is required. Yeah, because is there any point in doing that? I really doubt.
Maybe some of the users actually,
our basic premise itself is our master. It's not the most stable version, right? It basically has the latest feature. That's all. We are not basically saying that is the most stable version, right? If they actually want to have stable version, they have to look for release version. Now, given that for a master, if I don't think there is a need for providing each and every build for every commit.
Yeah, but I think it's still a good practice to do that because, for example, for TensorFlow, they also I know that TensorFlow, the people just who use TensorFlow, they're just installing using pip, and they're not having the Docker images. But you can still install the latest, not stable, but the latest changes from TensorFlow instead of using the TensorFlow release, right?
I agree. I'm saying there is a I agree to your point that people can use it, but again I'm saying there is always a way to do that, right? And it hardly takes 5 minutes to build the image, right? No, not even 5 minutes for us. So that way it is completely okay in our in our case. It's not a blocker. That is not it is a much more involved build mechanism which is happening there. So if there's a possibility, let's do that. But here at this point, I don't think we should waste time in doing this manual push every time, because unless we resolve it, I'm saying if we have a easier way to do it, let's do that for sure.
Yeah, because in the future we can, in any case, maybe use GitHub Actions to make the releases, and that can help us. Yeah, we can maybe try to figure out, maybe I will try to just manually like create a separate repo to enable this GitHub actions. And I don't think in any case, if the Google won't give us permission, they can help us to just updating the settings. Since like we're manually the owners of the repo, right?
Yeah.
Okay, sounds good. Any other questions for Credit, or we can move forward?
So should I just include a link for the Catip examples in the examples repo, or like should I include the each and every folder in the examples repo? What should I do? What do you suggest?
Yeah, so I would suggest maybe try to show us which kind of examples using Kedip right now, and which kind of examples we can move to Kedip repo if they're interesting in. Yeah.
Most of the Catip examples I think aren't updated at all. Is that a problem that older
Yeah, I would.
older examples don't work with newer releases of Catip?
Yeah, I think definitely if this examples needs to be updated to the like 0.12 release. And if they're actually using some other technologies from Kedip, it will be interesting to add them to the Kedip repo. Can you just maybe create an issue under Kedip repository, and we can discuss what kind of examples we can push to Kedip upstream, just providing the list there.
Yeah, so the link of the example folders in the issue.
Yeah. I just was thinking like maybe what kind of the examples here specifically using Kedip inside.
Many of them like use Catip, so you could search them and you could find many examples.
So do you have a list of the interesting examples that you can add to our repository from this list?
Like many of them are using, you could search in the search bar, like type Catip, you could find many examples.
Yeah, okay. I think it's fine. Maybe just try to take a look, and if there's something is interesting, we can contribute. Yeah, because if they are outdated, and no one are going to maintain, because the problem is that if we actually put these examples to Kedip repo, we need someone to maintain these examples. So we need to find people.
That's a big problem. Yeah, also like if they are using Catip and also the Kubeflow components, so if the other components aren't supported, so like it won't work at all. Like if one thing is broken, the whole thing doesn't work.
Yeah, I would suggest if we cannot find owners, just remove them, because like it's not any points to have an example without particular owners, because like if I give an example, we have FPGA controller. So here we have FPGA support with Kedip experiment, and we have the owners files. So we can always ping the particular folks to ask to update this example if we need to. So I strongly recommend if we want to add something to our repo, we need to have the owners for them. So if we don't have the owners, just try to deprecate these examples.
Oh yeah. So like I made this issue like in the examples repo, but like no one responded to it. Like most of them are doing another thing working at another company. So Michelle contributed like a lot, but she is in she's re-signed to other like Google Print. She doesn't work in Qprint.
Yeah, I mean, it's totally fine. Sometimes it's happening in open source community. So in that case, just simply deprecate them, and people always can use history. Maybe just before actually deprecating some examples, so you can make the release of examples repo. And then if people just want to see the early example, they can always jump to the particular branch, right? Yeah, so, but I mean, it's fine to deprecating some legacy examples from my point of view.
Yeah, thank you. So also like AWS version, so like in the docs, the current version of installation docs in AWS is 1.2. So like, is there going to be like AWS install doc for like Kubeflow 1.4 or like?
Yeah, I think it's many people actually asking about the AWS, and I think they still haven't updating this documentation. But it's like you probably need to ask the AWS folks there if they're going to contribute, because mostly AWS documentation should be updating by AWS team. Yeah, and I'm not sure what is the status of their process there.
I checked in the owner's file in the documentation. Who owns it? Like nobody is from AWS. One is from like ByteDance, and other is from Google, who was earlier like at AWS.
Yeah, probably they need to update their owners files there. Yeah, even here. Okay, yeah, maybe they just, because I remember that AWS, they have a new team who just joined the Kubeflow recently, and they probably need to update this owners file. So it would be great if you can just let them know, just maybe in the AWS Slack channel, to update the owners.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so for the training side, just a couple of things. So we previously we discussed about the documentation update. So my question is here, in the release meeting, we proposed that all of the documentation updates should be done in the development process. So basically, when we implement the new feature in upstream, we should update the documentation as well. So for KDIP, we're trying to follow this process for the latest 2 to 3 releases. And even more, if you submit the PR under KDIP repo, you always have this sort of the checklist if you need to update documentation. Because why we actually ask people to do that, because if you, for some cases, if the new features, if a new feature has been implemented, the contributor won't update the documentation, and this is the big problem, because we have like separate list of documentation issues that we should fix before the official Kubeflow release. So my proposal here for training, can we follow the similar way as KDIP? So once we implement the feature, the contributor also have to create the PR under Kubeflow website. So do you think, John, can it work for training also? Because for KDIP, I think we're following this right now.
It might. We need to verify that once again.
Yeah, because like I think for training sites, some of the docs are outdated, and not all of them updating to the. For example, like in Elastic training, right? We don't have any documentation for the Elastic here.
No, but it's not merged, right? It is still just getting. It is still in draft.
But do you see any blocking points here by doing this from the training side?
Should be okay. Should be okay.
Yeah, just maybe try to ask like contributors to create the pending, at least like pending PRs, and yeah, to just keep this documentation up to date. And we don't need to like spend time before the release to updating all the documentation. Also, like ask like website owners to take a look at these updates. And I strongly recommend like for updating documentation during the development process before the releases. Yeah, so I mean, as a starting point, maybe we can try to at least adding the similar checklist in our like PR template in the training. What do you think? Yeah. Similar to what we have in KDIP, right? This one.
Yeah. Sure.
Yeah, I think it would be great if we can like keep up to date the documentation for training, and in the future, if we decide to like use our own documentation, we can just simply copy documentation from the Kubeflow website.
I think it is mostly up to date. I am not aware. We have to really verify that. it should be mostly up to date, right?
Yeah, that's true. Some of the docs I can see here.
Yeah, we have to verify that. Yeah, I think that is a good work item. We can take that. Yes.
Yeah, but just, yeah, it's a starting point. I will create a PR to updating the PR template here. Okay. Okay, so other than that, I think, so for the release we discussed already, so we're going to wait until Kubeflow 1.5 for training 1.4. Do we have any other points for training that you want to discuss? I don't think we have many people from training side, but maybe any questions, comments? Yep. Okay, sounds good. So any questions, last comment questions from the community, or we can wrap up?
So like every time we make a PR, so like we should make, so the proposal that just presented, we need to like add documentation related to it, update the documentation. So like, should it be like applied to new features and also to like, or just, or not for like bumping versions.
Yeah, that's exactly what I said. So if we will have the checklist point. So like give you an example. So after each PR, you have this. Let me see. So you have this checklist. So I completely understand that some of the PRs doesn't require documentation updates, such as you mentioned, like a version update or any like bug fixes. So in that case, the contributor, like they won't need to create the documentation PR. Otherwise, they have to like do the pending PR in the process while they adding feature to the upstream. Yeah. So just a checklist for them to know that they have to create the documentation PR in addition to the like source code updates.
I think like in the issue template, we should also add like Josh proposal so that users can read it, and also like add an optional tag, like it's not compulsory. So the optional tag before the checkbox, like bracket optional.
Oh, do you mean like in the issue if they submit an issue for the new feature?
No, make a PR like in this PR like checklist, bracket optional and docs. Like Josh said, like it's not compulsory. Like to get PR approved, you have to also like update the
Oh,
document.
yeah, I got it. So you mean like just a specific like label to maintain if they. So we won't merge PRs until they're creating an issue, right? Oh, until they're creating the documentation PR, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, because currently it's like just a manual process. So yeah, I'm not sure how we can actually have the CI to verify if the documentation has been updated. Yeah, but I mean, it's a good point. Maybe we can start with just a simple checkbox, and in the future, just to see how we can extend it to the CI process validation.
Yeah.
Okay, sounds good. Yeah, so I think with this said, like, thank you so much, guys, for attending this time. I hope to see you again next time, and have a good rest of the week. Yeah, thank you, guys.
Thank
See
you.
you soon.